over.
Mhm.
Okay, we're recording.
Okay. So, welcome to Lakithia Nicole Talk, and I am super excited to have Dr. Cubeon Pitts with me today. We are going to get into it. I'm super excited. Not only is she a doctor, not only is she a woman of empowerment, but she is my blood cousin. So, I'm super excited to have my blood cousin on my show. Exactly. We're going to get right into it, Dr. Cubeon. I want you to tell the people who is Dr. Cubeon and what it is that you do.
Okay, well, first of all, it's so good to see you, and thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to for you just to invite me and think about me to be on your show. So thank you
You're very welcome. I love your spirit, even though you're my cousin. It's not even personal.
Thank you. So, oh my gosh, talking about myself. I don't know why that is like the hardest thing, but I am the president and founder of 501c3 ministry called Cubeon International Ministry and the founder of Help Me Prep Academy. And so what I am doing, yes, is just utilizing the gifts that God gave me. My ministry, my passion is all about empowering people because Christ died on the cross, but when he got up, he left us a little something called dunamis power. And so it's my job to equip people to walk in their authentic self and be who God created them to be. And so I teach women about how to be what Genesis 2:18 calls a helpmeet. And a helpmeet is a godly wife. Now, anybody can have a piece of paper, anybody. But Genesis 2:18 talks about a helpmeet, what a godly wife is. And so we're in this time right now of women empowerment, and God is raising women up in power, and women are walking in positions of authority and power that we've never walked in history.
Yes.
And so, and God is behind that. The only thing is that he wants to make sure it is God's desire that we don't end up with our homes out of order while we're doing it. And so I'm helping women to bring balance. And I'm also, my passion, because of what I've gone through, I'm a suicide prevention advocate. And so I help people. I'm not an official counselor now, but I motivate people and I encourage people to help them to live their best life, because I don't want to see people come to the same demise that my mother did with committing suicide 10 years ago.
Yeah. Rest in peace to your mother and my aunt. And so, what inspired exactly your movement with? Obviously, it's clear as day that her death inspired you to have a passion of helping people dealing with suicide. What are some of the tools and some of the jewels that you learn, and what would you tell someone that could be basically, there's a lot going on in the world right now, right? So I've heard that the suicide rate is up at an all-time high. What is some advice that you would give someone dealing with suicide?
First things first, talk to somebody. My God, talk to somebody. That was one of the things that my mother wouldn't do. She talked to me, but her death was a surprise to everybody that knew her except me, because she didn't share it. And so when there's something particularly, I can only speak about the Black community because I'm a Black woman, but within the Black community, counseling and going to see a therapist is still frowned upon. And I want to break that stereotype. It takes strength to say, I need help. So that's the very first thing, is to go talk to somebody if you're struggling. It's not normal to feel like all hope is gone and that, things will never change. And, that depression, it is an actual disease that you need to get help. It's not something people tend to internalize because they're embarrassed about how they feel. And so they struggle and keep things on the inside. And so the very first thing I do is encourage people to go find a licensed counselor to talk to, and even open up and share with someone close to you, because one of the reasons I knew my mom didn't want to share, she didn't want anybody to know about what she was going through, and she was embarrassed. But
Mm,
had she known how sad her friends and family were going to be after her, she wouldn't have did what she did. But that pain
exactly. Right.
causes us, prevents us from being able to see past the pain. And always
Right.
hurting, all you see is that pain, and that pain is a liar because it tells
Mm,
you things will never change. It tells you
yes.
life will always be this way, but that's not true.
Right. Amen. Amen. Um, you really, dug deep on the fact that, people should not be afraid and not be ashamed. Um, if you dig a little bit deeper when you said they shouldn't be ashamed, so who would you say they should go and reach out to? Because, some people don't have, a close confidant that they can speak to. So then in that situation, what would you say they should do? People that are dealing with suicidal thoughts and things of that nature.
That's so true. The suicide hotline is free. People can
Hmm.
call the suicide hotline. I can provide that information here in
Okay.
a moment. I don't have it memorized, but calling the suicide hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they have people that are there to talk to you. So you don't have to worry about money. If you're in that
Mm,
moment of I'm ready to take myself out because I can't live like this anymore. Call that number. And then there are so many agencies and organizations that provide some type of counseling assistance for people or
yeah.
employee assistance. And there are many insurance companies provide this type of help. All you have to do is reach out to your insurance provider and find what type of providers you have for options to talk to someone. And of course, within your church or
Yeah.
whoever you're connected to, reach out to a spiritual leader, but talk to somebody.
Right. So you said there's a number or do you have a number to provide, or they can just find this number just like,
I can give it to them. The Suicide National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255.
okay. Because I think that a lot of people can, find that resourceful at this time, and useful because again, they're saying that the suicide rate is at an all-time high. A lot of people are in a depressed state. Some people don't want to get out of bed because, what is it for them to do? Because some people can't return back to their jobs. Some people don't have a job to go to right now. Some people can't even get hired. So, this with the world kind of being on lockdown as it is, people are dealing with depression. So what advice would you give someone to just get motivated and start their day and find a way to, just be used in purpose, even though they're home at this time, trying to figure it out?
Set some goals. I remember after my mom's passing, I had to struggle and fight to keep from being depressed. And so my first goal was just to take a shower, just get out of the bed. The
Mhm.
thought of having to go to work and serve in ministry was way too much. So I took it
Mhm.
one moment at a time. And my
Yeah.
only goal, I considered it a win if I had the energy to get out of the bed and take a shower.
Wow.
I I encourage people to plan some things that you like doing that you enjoy. And it's kind of a way to trick your brain. So and I
Mhm.
just use myself as an example. I'm very
Yeah.
transparent.
Yeah.
So for me, just like a cloud of sadness will come around the day of the anniversary of my mother's death or her birthday. Those days are going to come as long as I'm alive and breathing. I'm going to experience those days. So what I started doing was planning a party around those days because it would kind of trick me. So while the sad day is coming, it would give me something positive to look forward to. Now, in
Mhm.
this COVID world, I highly recommend you not host a big gathering. But why
Yeah.
couldn't you host a virtual gathering? I attended a virtual Christmas party. Now, mind you, I was kind of thinking it was going to be a little cheesy, but I actually ended up enjoying it.
Yeah.
Just because we can't see people in person doesn't mean we cannot connect. And so we need to utilize social media. Don't sit in the house with the lights off. Talk to people, call people, connect with people, get on the phone.
Yeah.
You might not be able to go visit, but you can still connect. And that's something that we have to put forth the effort in. And I think
Love
that
it.
there are a lot of people not really putting forth much effort to connect.
Hmm. Yes. That's probably what it is too, because, and so basically they're not able to connect. So they're not able to communicate to people, basically to let them know what they're dealing with, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, yes.
And so like you said, they need to connect with, with their people, like close confidants that they have, that they know, or someone that they trust, and just try to stay in a good, up mode, basically.
Yes, and finding good things to do. When no, I don't think there is anybody that is always like, woohoo, so excited and happy. Our feelings are up and down. And so,
Yeah.
certain things that I would encourage when you are feeling low, don't listen to sad music.
Yeah.
Music, it is, my God, it feels us. And so what you listen to has a lot to do with how you feel. So when I'm feeling down or discouraged, I set my environment. That's something that we have control over.
Right.
So listening to some worship music, listening to an awesome motivational speaker, but put on something that's encouraging, because you need to feel yourself with something,
Right.
and set that environment. Don't watch sad movies, when you're, for example, you're single and feeling lonely. That is not the time to be watching these love stories on Netflix. Don't do that. Put on the comedy or something, but don't make yourself more depressed by watching people that have what you don't have.
Right. Exactly. I think that is definitely just medicine to somebody's soul. You know what I mean? Even just some laughter in their life in the times like these. It's a lot going on, obviously, and it's a lot for people to deal with. But we still got to be able to find that joy, and we're alive. If God spared you, then it's a reason to be grateful and thankful. Is there anything else you want to tell people that are in a suicide place or in a depression right now that you want to touch on?
Yeah, sure. So I understand that suicidal people really don't want to die. You just want the pain to stop. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're listening to me and you're in this place and you're feeling like, I can't go on anymore, this is so bad, I don't want to live, I need you to know that while your feelings are very, very real, they are lying to you.
Yeah.
My mom had no idea how much she was loved and missed, because she was hurting so bad. And I would like to share something, if it's okay, to people who have loved ones that are struggling with suicide.
Yeah. Feel free, please.
So, what I want to say to you is that what is so misunderstood is that they don't want to die. They just want the pain to stop. And you got to think that it's not selfish. So many people think that depression and people that are suicidal is selfish. How could you be so selfish? You're going to leave your children, you're going to leave your family, and all of this. They're not selfish. They're hurting that bad. My
Mm.
mama Dukes loved me. I
Yes.
know that woman loved me.
Yeah.
And so she had to be hurting pretty bad to be
Mm-hmm.
okay with leaving me behind. And so I
Mm-hmm.
want you, if you have a loved one struggling with suicide, I want you to think about it like that. They love you and they're hurting so bad. They're considering leaving you in this world without them. That's how bad they're hurting. It's not, it's not a selfish thing. They're really hurting. And
Yeah.
so, and the last thing that they need is you guilting them, because they already feel guilty about the way that they feel. So don't add to it. Don't speak to them in anger. The best thing that you can do is be a listening board and
Mm-hmm.
encourage them to seek help.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need some medication. Medication and prayer go together. And listen, I am all for the church and deliverance, but I am all about how the natural and supernatural work together. You might need to take some medication and have a prayer. And so
Mm-hmm.
encourage them to seek help, and just be there for them and listen, and just listen. The What I did the most was listen without judging.
Yes.
Listen without judging is so
Yes.
huge.
Yes, that's really good. That's really, really good. That's some really good advice. Um, Now, I want to, move into some more things about you. You mentioned I told you to share about yourself. You talked about you help women in being helpmeets. I want you to dive into that. Like, how are you helping women to be the helpmeet that they need? Because you skipped over this. The reason and how you're helping them is because you have 3 books out. I'm like, how is this my real cousin? And I had no idea she wrote 3 books, and you can get them on Amazon. And my copy is coming soon when I place my order today. But let's talk about that though, the 3 books, and then I want you to elaborate so that the women can know how to be the best helpmate.
Absolutely. So my first book, it's wedding season. This is it right here. As she said, it's available on Amazon and on my website, drcubeon.com. And if any book you order on my website, I will personally sign. And I usually will put a little prophetic message in there as God leads me.
Oh.
And so it's awesome. And it has a companion journal with it. This book is about preparing for marriage.
Wait, so that one has a companion journal in it?
Yeah, with
That's
it.
the first one?
Book. Yeah, so this is actually 2 books. This plus a workbook that goes along with it.
Awesome. I want that. I want the journal because I love writing. So I need that copy with the journal.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
So now this book, this is my baby right here because God gave me this message called It's Wedding Season. And what he was saying is that, it's wedding season, prophetically speaking, and he's bringing men and women together during this time. But the problem is that the enemy is lying and waiting to attack these marriages.
Yeah.
And marriage is the one thing that you get a certificate for without any type of training.
Yeah.
That's training.
So true. Yeah.
Yes, which is kind of crazy for such a big commitment. So I'm talking people through how to prepare for marriage, how to go through your inner healing. And I share, I'm very transparent. I'm sharing my business up in here. I talk about my 10-year situationship that I was in, wasting time, and how to break soul ties from being connected with people that you shouldn't have been connected to in the first place. Going through my healing process and having to forgive my father. And so I talk about all of this. And because all of these things, anything that you don't deal with in your singleness is going to come up in your marriage. You're going to deal with it one way or another.
Yes.
And so it's best to deal with it before you say I do. Deal with the issue in your tissue.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And this the last book that just came out in September is 21 Days to Marital Breakthrough. And this book is dealing more so with the spiritual aspect of not only preparing for marriage, but also because just because you're married don't mean things are going well. And sometimes people get married without dealing with those issues that we just talked about. So this book is for people that are single and want to break through to get married, because your girl spent over 15 years single. I'm talking about now in a situationship, but nowhere near, a committed relationship. And I'm like, okay, God, what's up? I'm ready to lock it down, have some babies. What's up? So want to deal with generational curse. There are, so many people that have patterns in their bloodline and they don't realize it's a generational curse. So there's an example. You might have, there might be a lot of women in a particular family, a particular bloodline, single, that desire to be married. When you start seeing patterns, that's a signal, letting you know, like, okay, wait a minute, something is up with here. The enemy doesn't want people happily married because there are power couples coming together. And so I walk people through how to destroy demonic delays to their marital destiny in this book.
Also, okay. And now, are you a coach too? So you do really? So do you deal one-on-one with couples too?
I'm not at this point in time, I'm not doing one-on-one with couples, but I do one-on-one, what I call prophetic coaching. And the reason
that's what I want to. Okay.
Thank you. So, it is really hard for me to just talk about myself. It really is. So the prophetic coaching, people can book an appointment on my website, drcubeon.com, click on coaching, and we set up a one-on-one appointment. And so we talk about anything from dating, trauma that you're dealing with that you need healing from. I'm even
Wow.
walking some people through their dating process and just helping people to break free from limitations that they have in life. And I call it prophetic coaching because I always open up in prayer. I'm like, I'm good, but I'm better with God. And so I like God to lead and guide us throughout the discussion. And because I'm prophetic, he shows me things about people that I have no way of knowing. And
Really?
and as long as I've been
Wow.
doing that, never gets old, never gets old.
Wow.
So we come up
Wow.
with a battle plan and give homework assignments, and then they knock out what I give them. We come back, meet again, and I'm helping people to one-on-one to begin walking in their destiny. But beginning February 1st, I'm launching a group mentoring program. And so the
Amazing.
so
Yeah.
excited.
So you're launching February the 1st. You're launching exactly what is that?
So Help Me Prep Academy. It's my other.
Okay.
It will be a mentoring program. So we're going to start out with a private Facebook group, and there's going
Okay.
to be VIP content strictly for the people that are in this program. We're going to
Okay.
learn about becoming that Genesis 2:18 help me. Identifying your purpose and learning to walk it. And so I'm going to be their purpose pusher. I'm going to push them. If you've got books inside of you, they're going to come out in this mentoring program.
That's good.
We're going to learn about spiritual warfare. We're going to learn how to pray effectively, because there are so many people that they do these little cute prayers, but to affect some real change in your life, you got to know how to kick some demon booty, as I like to say.
Yeah.
So,
Some
we're gonna
demon
learn
booty.
how to do that. Yes, we're gonna
Yeah.
kick some demon booty. We're gonna learn how to do that. We're gonna learn from reading various types of books. I am a student at heart. And so,
Mhm.
and I don't know everything. So we're going to read books from people who are specialized in their areas, and we're going to grow and walk in everything that Christ died for us to have.
Amen. I love it. I love it. Wow. I mean, that in itself, everything that you've said so far is just empowerment at the highest that how high can you go? Because it's motivating, it's inspiring, it's uplifting, it's encouraging. You know what I mean? And that's what this show is all about. I wanted you to tell me, also, I think when you talked about, are you doing anything with your PhD? Are you working with, now let's talk about that. So let's go into, you said you have 2 degrees, right?
Well, got bachelor's, master's, and the doctorate.
Well, yes. So let's talk about that. How did you become, yes, Dr. Cubeon? Like, let me know this situation, because I'm like, my cousin is a doctor now. Like, really?
Let me tell you, your girl wasn't looking for that. No way. I finished my bachelor's, was like, I'm never going back to school again. Then I
Wow.
ended up going for my master's because my job paid for it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
So doctorate was nowhere on my mind, and I didn't even think I was smart enough for something like that. My
Mm.
friend, my homegirl, was getting her doctorate, and what's funny, she had her residency she was headed to, and she was so scared. And
Uh-huh.
so she was like, "Yo, I need you to like call me and encourage me, while I'm there, just encourage me that I can do it." So that was my job.
Yeah.
Child, she ended up, she was she had a great teacher, and she was so excited. I'm calling to encourage her, and she's breaking down the dissertation process and whatnot. And I'm like, this actually sounds doable. And girl, a week later, I went and applied and enrolled in the program. And let me tell you this, I was like, okay, I'm crazy. God, is this you? Do you really want me to do this? The registration fee, girl, was $100. And I left
Wow.
work at lunchtime to run to the grocery store. And when I got back to my car, there was $100 bill by the door. And for me, it was like God confirmed,
Wow.
like, yeah, I want you to apply to this program. Like, this is me.
Yes.
And
Wow.
that's how I enrolled. It wasn't even a plan, but I told her, don't you talk to me about doing nothing else. I'm done.
Wow. But I'm sure it's just it's came in very handy for you. Now, you can say you have your doctor degree, so you're not just talking, you know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
something to fall back on, which is actually that degree that proves that you know what you're talking about. So tell me, Dr. Cubeon, what motivates you to do this? Like, what drives you to, be this motivator, be this person to help women and people, men and women alike, dealing with depression and suicide? What's the motivation for you?
I love God and I
Mm,
hate the devil. My
mm,
mama was my best friend, and her
yes.
death was the fuel that I needed. My whole desire and purpose, when I wake up in the morning, I want Satan to be like, dang, she up again. I want him to be happy
Amen.
when I go to sleep. And
Yeah.
when I go to heaven, because my mama was taken from me before her time, oh, when
Amen.
I go, I'm planning to have a whole slew of people. I have asked God to use me to change the destiny of people that were headed to hell because of my mama. So for me, her death was a seed that's bringing life to other people. That's what fuels me. I
Amen.
was robbed, but I'm going to make sure other people don't get robbed the way that I did.
Amen. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. This is a serious one right here, because it's like it's not just talking about a random person that committed suicide, because it's my aunt as well that we're talking about. And she was just a beautiful soul. Me just speaking about her, she taught me different things, just personal things. And I mean, her smile was like yours, it's very radiant, like she would light up a room. You know what I mean? She was always, whenever I've seen her, even if she was dealing with something, you said she was, we never seen it. We had no idea, because she wasn't that type of person to just dump, loads off on people and just give them a bunch of baggage. So no one knew. But I know that she's in heaven, smiling down on you for what you're doing, because you are changing lives. And this is what it's about. You know what I mean? Like you said, um, she's the motivation behind it, but also to see other souls not lose their life, because you were robbed to lose her, because she was so beautiful. And it was so much more that I believe that she needed to do and that she wasn't able to do, and so through this, God is through, you're living, wait, through you, she's living on, because see, you're changing lives, you're a part of her, you're an extension of her, no matter what, because she was here. And so the greatness that you are obtaining and achieving is basically, in my opinion, is coming back down. You see what I'm saying? It, even though she's not here to do it, you're doing it. So that is a blessing in itself to me, that you're able to change lives, yeah, for the glory of God. And so someone else don't have to lose someone that they love. So I'm very proud of you and what you're doing. It's amazing. So also, moving on from that, you were talking about helping women, and part of your story I saw on your page is you personally, you said you've been on this 15-year journey of, the single life. Let's talk about the new life and how
Oh,
everything is now.
hey, hey,
You call him,
I
you call,
got a man at home. Hey.
you call him King Bay, which we
Yeah,
know him as King Bay. Let's talk about this King Bay if you like to.
yeah. My God, it's like it's finally my turn. You know, people would tell me like, you were asking for too much, and I'm like, nah. When I was younger, yeah, when you young, you're like, oh, they gotta have this and this type of curl pattern. When you start getting older, you're like, I need a pulse. I need to love Jesus. Legs are optional, just you. So I was, when I was younger, it was like really strict, but things like, for example, I love God, and I have fallen so many times, but I was like, this time I want to get it right, and I want to be abstinent until marriage. That locked out a whole lot of guys. And that
Yeah,
was one of the reasons that I was like, I want to get it right this time. I
yeah.
wish I was one of them saints that did right all the time, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Amen.
fell short of the glory numerous times. So okay,
Amen.
God, but I'm gonna ask for forgiveness, and I want
Yeah.
to get it right. And
Amen.
I met my King Addison a little over a year ago. crazy thing is we met on Facebook dating app, and I've done online dating for like 20 years. So online dating for me is no big deal. But we met on the online Facebook's dating app, which was new at the time. And
Mm,
we've been talking ever since. He's a good man. And I found out that I wasn't asking for too much. What other people or men would make seem like you want too much, for him it was nothing to say, I'll wait, that's the right thing to do.
yeah.
And one thing that I love about my king is that he lets me be me. Like
Mm,
I'm a lot, I am a lot to handle.
yeah.
And and he can handle me. He supports everything that I'm doing. Just before our interview, he was giving me some ideas and tips on things about what I can do for as
Oh,
far as the mentoring program. So like he supports me, he loves me. Girl, the man can cook. Like I didn't even ask God for that. We talk about over and above. What the word say? He'll give you exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all. I didn't even ask for a man that can cook. I'm like, he was cooking on Christmas. I was like, I like being on this side of the counter. You go ahead, boo.
so
So
let's
that
talk about it. He was cooking because you remember we had a conversation the other night how we both love food. So I'm sure, like, isn't that like music to your ears when they can cook? When you love food?
yeah, yes, I had asked him. He cooked again on New Year's Eve, and I came in the
Oh
kitchen.
wow.
And was like, would you like some help?" And he was like, "No, I got this. If I want some help, I asked." But I was like, "Good." I really didn't want to. I was just asking to be nice. I'm gonna sit right over here and watch you.
That's incredible. That's incredible, cousin. So talk about the bonus that you have, your bonus child.
My baby, my God, I'm a bonus mommy. I have a bonus son. His name is AJ. He is the cutest little chocolate thing ever. Oh my gosh, I love that little boy.
Oh,
God
oh, and
is
I wanted to
amazing.
make sure I'm letting people know that he's the son of your King Bay, so they can know
Yes,
it's all together.
yes,
Okay, so now
yes.
you can finish talking about the baby.
Yes. So my King Addison has a son, and it's so amazing. When I met that little boy, my heart exploded. I fell in love with Addison over time, but his son, I fell in love with him
Instantly,
immediately.
right? Yeah, yeah,
Immediately. Kids are
yeah,
innocent.
yeah.
And I am learning about how, well, you have a baby. I was so nervous. I'm just like, oh Lord, I don't have any kids. He gonna know I don't know what I'm doing over here in these streets. I'm lost. But what is so funny is that your inherent mommy nature, whatever that is, like just starts coming out. And what's so funny is I'm finding myself like, oh my gosh, I sound like my mom. But it's starting that nurturing part of me, that motherly love. It's like it just shows up when you need it. That's been so cool
Right?
to witness.
Yes, yes. And you know what you just said about the nurturing? 'Cause I know my mom is a big nurturer, so I know my aunt was a big nurturer too by nature, right? She was the
Yes.
sweetest. So I'm sure you're able to give that to the baby, that nurturing side of yourself. And that also, it preps you for when you decide to have your babies, having him as, your bonus child. That's preparing you for your own baby that, you guys will eventually have. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. You just get the fulfillment of everything in this. You got your training going on right now for the children that you want. And then you got this amazing guy that God has blessed you with because you've been faithful. You've been, obedient, you know what I mean? And following, him. And so it's just blessings on blessings right now. Is there some other things that you want to, let the people know that is exciting, that is happening? Because what I also want to do with this show is we want to pull people up out of, places of depression, and we want to build them and encourage them. But we also, with so much happening and people getting constant bad news, we want to bring good news to people. You know what I mean? And this is good news. You're talking about life and love and happiness. So if there's something else that you want to touch on that is adding to your happiness right now, please feel free to go ahead and elaborate on it, because I want the people to know that The same God that did it for you will do it for them. And that he's able, right? And we
That's
want
right.
to give that life back to people, right?
That's right. That's right.
So talk about it. Anything exciting that you want to touch on that I didn't get or that I don't know, please feel free to touch on it.
Well, I pretty much told you all the business, but but I want to say that happiness is a choice, and it's going to be a continuous choice. And the world is going to continue to have darkness. You know what happened yesterday at the Capitol? I
Yeah.
was I had to gather myself. I wanted to broadcast, but I had to wait until I got my feelings in check because I'm a leader and I don't want to spew anything out. So I had to get myself together and I choose happiness. And the thing about it is that regardless of what is going on in the world, there are still good things that are happening. But we
Yes.
have to, on purpose, look for those things, concentrate on those things, focus on those things. So it's your choice. You can focus
Yes.
on the negativity of what's
Yes.
going on, or you can focus on the good things that are happening.
Hmm.
Uh, 2020 for me was a very challenging year, like especially physically. I had surgery and I had complications from the surgery, but it was the best of times and the worst of times all at the same time. And so, despite everything that happened, I still say for me, 2020 was a good year, even though I was dealing with things physically. On the other hand, like my business, my ministry were doing better than they had ever done. And so, I got to give God glory for those good things instead of only focusing on the negative. And
Amen.
so you are what you think. And so if all you think about is the negative and focus on it, then that's all you're going to have.
Hmm.
Um, so for example, out of yesterday, baby, there are some hilarious memes, and the memes were helping me to get out of my feelings. Have you seen the
Hmm.
one where they were talking about how they were there was a Cheeto in the lock talking about how prepared they were to protect the Capitol. So you gotta find a way just to laugh about things. And I listen to more than anything at this point, I listen to the joke channel. It's something that keeps me going because
Yeah.
I refuse to be in a state of depression. And
Amen.
so I'm going to hear about what's going on, but then I'm going to give God glory for the positive things and focus on that good stuff that's happening in the world
Amen.
because there's always a silver lining.
Yes. That's so true. You couldn't have said it better. I tell you, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I see that you've touched on everything, and you said you gave us all your business. Where can we? Can you give them your website? Now, can they get the book on your website as well, or is it only on Amazon? Or matter of fact, can you let them know where they can get the books and anything else? The February 1st, you have the class coming as well, where they can join and be a part of that, and then give them the information where they can do the one-on-one coaching. The people that are probably dealing with something right now and they need someone to talk to, relationship wise, or even just in just that ear, because they may be in that bad place, and you are a good person that could speak to them if they're in a depressed state, because you one-on-one been through it with your mother, my aunt. So you can be able to be helpful to someone. So if you can drop all of the places they can find you, so that what I mean, you can really 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 be useful with all of this stuff that you have. And now that you aren't already, but I'm sure there's so many people right now that are gonna, you're gonna be introduced to different platforms, and you're gonna be able to get more calls because people need that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
You're welcome.
I thank you. I am Dr. Cubeon across all the various social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, although I'm not on Twitter quite as much. Dr. Cubeon, DrCubeon. My website is drcubeon.com. On my website, you can book an appointment to talk to me one-on-one if you want all my full undivided attention. You can have that at
Yes.
drcubeon.com. On there, you can buy all of my books. I've got t-shirts, a Queen Bay t-shirt, just different various merchandise, and I've got some bags and some cups getting ready to roll out that
Oh,
say it's
wow.
wedding season. So we have
Wow.
the merch coming out. The mentoring program. I just did a broadcast today on my Facebook page talking about it and giving the deets on that. So the
Okay.
registration for that opens up on February 1st. If you're following me on Instagram and Facebook and got my website, you won't miss the link for that. And I definitely encourage, if you've been battling depression and struggling, you need to be united with a community of believers, united with some people who can pull you up, because sometimes it's a little hard to encourage yourself. So that's why you need to be connected, linked arm in arm with people, so that on your rough day, when you feel like you can't pull yourself up, baby, I can help pull you up. Another sister can help pull you up.
Amen.
And the books, they're available on the website. They're also available on Amazon. But if you get the book from my website, I get to sign it for you.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Cubeon, for coming on Lakithia Nicole Talk. I can only see great things happening for you in the future. Best of blessings to everything from marriage to all of the things that you're doing in empowerment. And I look forward to having you on the show again. And thank you again, like I said, for blessing us. I mean, it was truly a blessing, the message that you gave us, which was, I mean, empowering in itself.
Thank you so much for having me. I love what you are doing. And
Thank
so I'm
you.
looking forward to just seeing your business and ministry. Like, this is both, because you're helping people. Anytime you're helping people, it's ministry. And so I'm looking
Amen.
forward to just seeing God blow on you and you doing extraordinary things, even beyond your wildest imagination.
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, it hit different when it's family. Thank you so much. So I look forward to, like I said, having you back on. So get ready for a call because we got to do some more things. This is just the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
And I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you
Love
so much.
you.
Have a blessed night.
Bye.
Bye.